Hello and good morning. This is my Breville Barista Touch, model BES880 in brushed stainless steel. As you saw in the photos, it's in decent condition. It's got few scratches on the front and a few nicks, a few around the front panel as well. Nothing too bad really, no big scratches or big dents. I've actually had this model for the past 2 years. It's been treating me very well. And I stopped using it for the past 6 months because I've upgraded to the Barista Touch Impress. Basically the same machine, just with the automatic tamper. I've kept this for the past 6 months just as a backup, but now it's time to let go and have it go to a new home. It really has been a great machine. I mean, I've enjoyed using it. It's given me no problems at all. It's always made good coffee, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. In this video, I'll be making my morning latte, and I'll be testing all the features from grinding to the hot water tap to the brewing to the automatic milk frother. But I've also given the machine an external clean and disinfection. It's very clean now, and after this video I'm going to be doing the cleaning cycle and the descale cycle so that it can be so it's ready to go once you receive it. You don't have to fuss or mess with the cleaning, and hopefully you can also use the machine straight away with the settings that I have. Once I set up the grind size and everything. So I'm going to go to my latte selection. I'm going to get my cup, I'm going to get my spoon, and I'm going to make sure my portafilter is empty. Lock it in, and I'm going to run a blank shot. So a blank shot is just a bit of hot water that goes through the portafilter, that goes through the cup, into the cup to warm things up, just to make my coffee a little bit hotter. In the meantime, I'm going to go get me some milk. You can stop this at the 20-second mark. You don't have to let it go for the full 30 seconds. But it doesn't hurt. You're just going to waste more water, and it's going to mean you have to fill the water tank more often, but that's alright. Once that's done, I would get my portafilter, get a tissue and dry it. This machine, as you saw in the photos, comes with a few accessories, some cleaning tools, but also the double and single basket. I'm going to be using the double basket. This takes approximately 18 grams of ground coffee. I'm going to use my scale to measure the inputs and outputs. I've got the grind size around 14. Last time I used the machine it was around 14, and it gave me a good brew. I'm just going to purge the grinder. So because the beans, because I haven't ground any coffee in it for a while, I'm just going to get rid of the old coffee. So I'm going to grind for about 3 seconds. Just to get rid of the old coffee. Okay, now I'm going to start my scale on 0, and then I'm going to grind a little bit. Now I have it on 19 seconds, and I think from memory that gave me about 18 grams. So let's put it on 18 seconds and see how many grams that gives us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it halfway. So this is 9 seconds. I'm going to stop it halfway and measure. That's about 9 grams. And I'll quickly let it continue. So it'll take, I think, about 5 or 10 seconds before you, once you take out the portafilter to measure. So once, say I have it on 18 seconds, I take it out at the 9 gram mark. I pause the grinding at the 9 gram mark to measure. It'll give you maybe 5 seconds to check, and then it will reset. So don't let it wait for too long. That is 16.5. And say we do 19 seconds. Yeah, 19 seconds seems about right. I had it correct from the first thing. We'll put it back on 19 seconds. This is with my beans. I'm using dark beans from Aldi. Aldi is the only supermarket bean I would trust. Every other supermarket bean is not great. Anyway, once I have my correct dose, this is 18 grams, I will spread the coffee around with my finger. Make sure it's nice and flat before you press it with the tamper, and then press it nice and firm. Make sure you're applying even pressure all around. Make sure it's flat and it's not wonky to one side or the other. And this is what the result looks like. If you have a scale, please aim for 18 grams. If not, not a problem. Just once you press the coffee, just make sure that the depth of the coffee is similar to the silver part on the tamper. So now I've got 18 grams or 17.5, and that's the correct dose. This silver part disappears, and that's the correct thing to see. If you can still see some of the silver part after you've pressed the coffee, that's too much coffee, and you need to trim some of it or get rid of the top layer. But that seems to be good enough, I think. This is what it looks like from the side. There we go. So that's 18 grams. We are going to be aiming for a 2-to-1 ratio. So that means for every gram I grind, I want 2 grams out. So we've put in 18, we want 36 out. That's the correct ratio for espresso, and that should happen in 30 seconds. This machine is going to give us a double shot in 30 seconds. Now we'll make the coffee and we'll see what we get. If we get too much coffee, so if at the end of 30 seconds we get like 100 mils of coffee or 60 mils of coffee, that's obviously too much and we don't want that. If at the end of the 30 seconds we only get 10 or 20 mils of coffee, that's too little and we don't want that. We want it to be just right, at around 35 to 40 grams of coffee. I'm just going to add my flavoring now. If you like sugar or any sort of syrup or sweetener, add it before the espresso into your cup. And this will help the mixing of the flavor into your drink. Right, now my scale is on 0 again. I'm going to press the double button and let's hope that we get around 35 to 40 grams of coffee. The grind size will dictate how fast the coffee will flow, and basically the grind size will dictate how much coffee you end up getting. You can think of the grind size like the amount of coffee in the cup. So if you grind a very fine grind size, a very small grind size, the resulting quantity in your cup will be smaller because there's more pressure to push through. If you put the grind size very large, the speed of the coffee will be very large, very fast, and then the amount of coffee you get will be large as well. That's the basics of it. So at 14, I think it was pretty good, so let's see what happens. And with the shot, just make sure it's flowing evenly from both spouts. Make sure it's at a decent rate, and it looks like it's at a decent rate. Not too fast, not too slow. Looks like we're gonna get a good shot. 25 seconds now. We've got a good amount of crema. And that is the shot. Looks really good. That's 35 grams, I'm not kidding. That's a good shot, I would say. Looks like I did have the correct settings after all. This doesn't mean that your settings will be perfect, so once you get the machine, you may have to tinker a little bit, but at least now it's in the right zone. With the grinding at 19 seconds, with the grind size at 14, you should be in the right ballpark to start experimenting and getting good coffee from day one. But yeah, this is what it looks like. If you don't have a scale, you can eyeball and basically just aim for this much. This is not a massive cup, but this is, I would say, 2 centimeters height. If you're getting like half of your cup for a double shot, that's too much coffee. And that's how you know you need to grind finer. Or if you're getting a few drops only at the bottom of the cup and not a lot of coffee, not this much coffee, then yeah, you're grinding too fine. Another reason for why you're not getting it, if you're getting a lot of coffee, even at a very fine grind size, or if you're not getting a lot of crema, it could also mean that your beans are old. It's a very common question I get. Anyway, I'm going to mix up the crema and mix up the flavors, and then I'm going to start steaming. It's a semi-automatic machine, so it's got like an automated wand. You can froth your milk hands-free, or you can also manually froth it. Most of the time I would use it in manual mode. In automatic mode, it can do a decent job, but not as good as what a human or a skilled barista can do, I would say. But it's pretty good in the automatic setting. So if you're in a hurry, just put it on automatic. But if it's a weekend or you have a lot of free time on your hands, just do the manual. It'll be very rewarding. But anyway, we'll test the automatic. Make sure you use a flat jug on the bottom. Some jugs, like the Breville one, is flat and it's good for this machine. This is my personal jug. I don't think this machine comes with a jug, unfortunately. I don't have a spare one. But some brands will have a concave bottom. Be careful with these jugs, because it's happened to me where I wasn't aware of this, and I've put this over here, and it didn't really touch the thermometer, and the machine just kept boiling and boiling and boiling the milk, and it spilled everywhere. So get a flat jug on the bottom, not a concave one. If you want to be safe, just get the Breville one or any flat bottom one, I guess. Okay, center it on top of the sensor, and then let's select a foam setting of. It goes up to 9. Let's put it on 6. It goes up to 8. Let's put it on 6. And 65 degrees Celsius. Oh, I forgot. In the meantime, you don't have to sit and wait. You can just do a bit of cleaning. You can rinse this in the sink. Great. That is a good level of foam. Oh wow. The good thing about this machine is that it's got an insulated wand, so it's very easy to wipe. Just get a tissue or a towel and it wipes straight away. On other older or even cheaper machines, it's not insulated and it's super hard to clean. So this one's fairly easy to do that. And then when you push it down, it'll purge some steam and water to clean. It can make a mess and spray milk on the counter and the machine itself. I like to put a tissue just to prevent that, but I'll show you what it looks like. Just get a bit of milk here and here. Not too bad, but I like to prevent that spillage and just put a tissue once I finish. There is a hole for it where it sprays water and obviously goes into the tray for that dirty water. But I like to put a tissue just for the first few seconds to prevent that spillage, that spitting of milk once you push it down. But that's a latte on my machine. Last thing I would do is just flush the group head to clean all the coffee grounds. A couple seconds is usually enough. You can do it with a portafilter here and clean the portafilter with this hot water coming out. But you can clean it on the counter. Sorry, in your sink as well. That's not a problem. And just give it a good wipe with whatever tissue you have lying around. Like I was using the tissue to clean the wand, and I'm also going to use it to clean the group head, just to make sure it's nice and clean. There's always a little bit of coffee left, even after you flush. And one more tip I would give is just be careful with the sensor. A lot of people have reported, and I've repaired some of them as well, where people are like cleaning their machine, they're wiping it, and they accidentally pull on the sensor and it cracks the wire. Sorry, it splits the wire connecting the sensor to the machine. Just be careful with this. It can be sensitive. I mean, it's not super sensitive, but like if I push it the wrong way really hard, it will crack and it will need replacement. It's a $60 part. Better not to break it actually, so just be careful around that. Let's not let the milk sit too long. It's a very thick amount of milk. Once you finish steaming, recommended that you knock the jug on the counter to break any of the big air bubbles, and then swirl it around to mix. Do this a couple of times until the surface of the milk is nice and smooth. Oh wow, that's superb. I forgot how good this automatic setting is. I've never used it on a daily basis. I used to like mostly do the steaming manually just because I enjoy it more, but this is very close to what I can do if I'm being honest. If you have some dexterity, some skills, you can probably do latte arts. I'm not skilled, unfortunately, so I'm just going to do whatever this is. Just whatever, but it's not a shape, but it looks delicious. There's a good 2 centimeters of foam in there. Looks really good. Thanks for watching. Hope this video has helped you in at least in some way. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. I'm sure you'll enjoy this machine, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.